Hi, I'm Gavin Haynes, and welcome to another spring review. This time of the year, we always like to sit down on a Monday and look over the ratings for the weekend and do what most punters don't do and review where we went right and where we went wrong, so we can find out if there was any errors that we'd made that in our assessment of runners, just to make sure we're on the right track, and it'll give us some horses to keep an eye on as we go deeper into the spring. Hi, it's Gavin again, and time for another spring review. So we're going to have a look at Randwick Spring Champion Stakes Day from Saturday, and disappointingly, that had been dry for so long. They got a huge dump of rain, and the track came up heavy 9, heavy 10. And for me, any time I've done the form for even a soft track and it's worse than I think, generally put a line straight through the day and don't even worry about betting. Melbourne was a good solid day, so my attention was drawn there. But let's go through and have a look and see how we fared in the first. Our top four: Royal Celebration, Yulong January. They were both, if we look at their fluctuations, I had them both 329. They both traded as high as one height traded as high as 340. In fact, I think they both traded both traded as high as 340. So the astute shopper got on. We never entertained Tough Larry, nor did we entertain Nico Ladd. We were expecting 90s as our mark for these two guys, our top two picks. And look, it's often hard to do ratings on heavy tracks, especially when conditions fluctuate during the day, because some of those variations. So it was a tricky day to do numbers, but we can have a look at the first, and here you'll see the internal workings of my sectional creator. If you look at the video, you'll see the individual horse time, the individual last 400 sectional, and all those other numbers are basically maths until right down the last column where you'll get the sectional rating. So 94, 93, won by 2 Yong January, so that's well within. We're aiming for 80. We got 86 out of Royal Celebration. So no great surprises there, but nor was there any huge value. Third horse, Silent Explorer, 82, 81, was three lengths away. But it was only a 3-year-old restricted 74 race. So, but the winner, Yulong January, was up from Melbourne, one of Kieran Mars. That was only start 3 after winning its first 2 at Swan Hill, made into BM 64. So now into another win straight into BM 74. So quite a progressive 3-year-old. So we'll be watching his next step with interest. On to the second, the highway, and as much as I bitch about the highways, as I said, we often see it pretty well in these. And here we had Evo Pex at $1.93, $6.80 he traded at. We weren't expecting anything great numbers wise. So if we scroll down, we can see we've got 88, 86, 87, 91 for the runner-up, 83, 89 for the third horse, and then you really fall away, 81, 81, and the rest are not even worth worrying about. Vertex home in 23-1. Those second and third were both home far faster than the winner. So their sectionals had some merit, and that's reflected in their sectional rating over here. But 83, 89 for the third horse. So Vertex was in our top 4, him $20. Was 18. Justice Honor was also a nice overlay. So we found the trifecta in our top four there, but just a highway race. So we won't dally around on that too long. The third, just a BM78 over some ground. They absolutely dawdled in this because Cosmologist just jumped in the bunny and they let it do what it want. Time was pretty slow, 88. So that would be so far down on what I'd expect for that grade. It's got to be 8 or 9 points behind. So absolute dictated terms to suit. You can see the sectionals. Second, third, and fourth all ran home faster than the winner, but 86, 98, and 80, 96 Rakik. They were both tidy, but Rakik's a get back run on sword. Tinker Dam was a huge price. Royal Stamp 78, 90, 91. So not a race that Tamarack was actually pretty disappointing for the trail that it had. It was a race that was more about the map, with the cosmologist just dictating terms to suit. You can see this. There was only 3 runners there that had any sort of forward pressure, and nobody had the gumption to see how slow they were going. So we put that down to a clever ride, I suppose. And I do like the Joseph Pride barn, and I was hoping Tamarack was going to be his little one, but he used to have a horse I had a little hoof in at some point. Anyway, BM78s aren't what the spring is about. A little open handicap here. The fourth over the 1400 metres, doubt defying second pick. And that was based on its best form there. 97 clearly had the best form of any runner in that race. I wasn't 100% about it getting it first up, but that's the beauty of how these markets shape. There's always that weight to how good you actually believe the horse is. 4.90, you could have got $6 there. Now we need to go and check. Now 106, which is a really high peak again. Obviously could just relish the heavy track. I really do take heavy track ratings with a grain of salt, but anything that's highly we've got to look. We can go back 3 starts, and we've got a really slick time here, 104 with that rate rating of 91. So that's way above average. And then we've got a nice weight rating where it's gone slower, but won by 3.5. So it was first up. So a lightly raced 5-year-old, and that's certainly some improvement. It was a big career peak, so a bounce is certainly on the cards. Etymology 96, 99, Just Dreaming 95, 93. Now Just Dreaming was the favourite in that race. It was a nice bullet dodged. Again, first up, wasn't expecting what the market was anyway. 95 horse going in, 95, 93. So he's actually ran up to as good as he can go. Etymology, again making up another trifecta in our top 4. There was an overlay rated 760. Could have got 840. A 94 horse at bet, and he's rated 96, 99. So a little bit improvement, but he was still 2.5 lengths off the winner. We'll just power through this because we're really only interested in the quality racing. BM88, the 5th. Zorcan was our top pick. Only went just on $4. Started at $3.80, but you can see he traded as high as $5.70. It was actually a pretty good run. He was sort of back and wide, and I was questioning J Mac, but he obviously knew what he had underneath him and pulled away to win quite nicely. Zorkang 90, 91, 85, 91 behind it. So there's really sort of average restricted numbers in amongst that lot. Abdon ran second, so a little Quinella Now there was a horse called a Raymond that was $11. So as I usually like to do, I'll check out any horse that's performed above. He was only $13 in the market. 29 starts, 4 wins, yeah, 60 and a half, 60 and a half. His last couple. His next key. We've got a 98 rating, a 94. So you can see that. Look, I've basically based him on his Australian stuff, but there are a couple of. He should at least be a confirmed 94 horse. Which certainly would have slotted him into the market a little closer, but it certainly didn't cost us anything. We go to race 6 here, and that's where we're talking 3-year-old Group 2. There was one that was short in the market that had me worried all the way through. It was the resuming Caesar. This was only start 6, and he was first up. And if my memory serves me correctly, he had, if we can find Mr. Caesar, there was plenty of money. 11. They backed him. They took that price really early. So I sort of had my eye on him. Before that, there's nothing really you could get excited about. 2-year-old Group 3. Now we know horses, especially juveniles, can improve at least a point a month. So you could expect 4 or 5 points improvement. The 90 mark was possibly a little bit tight. If you want to allow for some improvement, but the fact that this guy has come out and rated 106, 107 is outstanding. First up, there was I had so many mixed thoughts about Sandbar and Spin alike, and you can read my if you read my comment, it was. I'd said it was a bit of a disappointing affair. Al Merton, who actually David Haynes had said was one of his best of the weekend, obviously didn't go a yard in it in the conditions, so we'll just forgive that. But Charge Sandbar, they were all thereabouts, and look, 101.99 for Sandbar was sound, but then you're looking at 5 lengths back. These Spin and Charge, Almerton, are really, really disappointing. But the winner, 106, 107, he's probably even better. But 22.9 in the heavy conditions is outstanding when you consider some of these other cows came home with the cows here, 26 and 27 seconds. It was nice to see Sandbar, who I'd sort of started to doubt on a little things, but 96 was previous best, and so 101.99. There's a little bit of improvement again. Whether I actually take that into account as I look at when looking for one, unless we're on a wet track, I really don't pay much attention to heavy track form. We go to a race 7, Spring Champion, and it's the first girl to win Spring Champion for quite some time. We had Thinking Big clearly on top, but the winner was first Group 1 for Rachel King, Maid of Heaven. Only its 4th start. I've got nothing in really. We've got a 100 weight rating a last start, but the time wasn't all that fast. And that's in the that was in the flight. 83.86 went 6. So she's obviously relished the step up to the extra trip, and so we really want to see with great interest what she's done time-wise. And there you go, 103, 106. That's a huge peak for her. Arameo sliced through the field. That's the Spring Champion Stakes form, where Graceful Glamour's on the 4th line of betting. For the Oaks, she's following the Pinot path that we enjoyed last year. 102, 104 for Arameo, who was our fourth pick, a little bit unders. Dealmaker disappointing. Tarka, I thought, had every possible chance. Look, Thinking Big was sound enough. On speed with his third 93-91. The next split nature of that really does concern when you start talking derbies. Look, you'd be hard to see it turning the tables on Arameo. Like Arameo's come home in 0.7 second of a second faster, and that's reflected in those sectional times, 104 to a 91. So I know out of the spring champion, like Mate of Heaven will probably go on the Oaks path. So that Arameo, that will really stand him out as a leading contender on the Derby path. We go on to race 8. And race 8, we only had, we had 3 chances under $4.80, and the next runner was 38. So we really only had 3 clear chances. I am serious once I'd like to see its fluctuations, because there was a ton of scratchings when the rain came, and you can see I am serious was traded heavily. I think it was $3 into $2. He was 1 from 1 on the heavy and 3 from 4 on the soft. So the conditions really favoured him coming off that third 102 with that sectional running 106. Good solid numbers. He's a pretty handy type. And 102, 107 here will really backs up that last start. It looks like he may well have, especially considering he was 53 kilos in that. And today, he's just up another kilo. So look, it's continuing improvement where we've got 4 or 5 102. So they're the marks of a really good racehorse. Mandyline, outstanding. Like it's just a race pattern. Puts herself in the position 97-101. I know that is that's an enormous peak. Let's take the top floor off, and we'll go down and have a look at the 8 here. We go to a 93 horse going in. Displaying like a model of consistency. Never off the podium this time in. But here we are in Mares Group 3. This is the angst. It was such a step up. You can see Mares restricted 78, Mares restricted 78, 88, and her numbers 92-90. So for her to, I don't know where that came. It was such a peak, 97-101. Wow. Look, maybe the heavy conditions, but that's you certainly couldn't use that going forward as a career peak off a heavy track. Dixie Blossom, she was our top pick. She's an honest girl, 96, 102 for her. Look, we have our 103 horse. The super heavy, like she's proven the heavy, and she's won on the soft. It's probably not ideal, but look, honest as ever. She continues to she's just about to clock over $1 million worth of prize money. It's not bad. 6 wins in 27. She's a good girl. Down here, 22-8 home, Princess Posh. Now, she's really improved us. We've been on her a couple of times now. She was scratched, I think, out of Melbourne to run in this, and that's come home faster than the winner. Just obviously got too far to the ground. But that 94, that 103, so we'll certainly be paying attention to a mare who's, come through the Tibby and just having a real purple patch. Shamuk 96-97. Now, Shamuk was our second pick, rated 450, and it was $9.40. Ran fourth, only 1.5 lengths off them at a nice overlay price. That's at 96.97, which is just a little bit down on what we expected. again, so we'll just go and have a look and see. She's never seen the heavy tracker one from throwing the soft, so we'll probably blame the conditions for her down turn. We go to race 9, which was a disappointing end of the day. Restricted race, BM 78 to finish the day. Number 17, Man of Peace. It wasn't on my radar. 87 horse going in. We've got, this is probably the key here when you look at its career peak, 97, 98. And what were the conditions that day? Yeah, very heavy. Obviously a swimmer, hence the $7.20. Like going forward, that's not going to be something we're going to be concerned about. There was the interesting runner going forward is Warranty. There was Poultice, or appeared to be. There you go, $6 early into $2.72. So the amount of money was for the Team Snowden 4-year-old mare. She's only had the 9 starts. 89.94 sectional rating. That's probably, her first up run was probably her best, and she's come here and rated 93.103, 22.1. It's probably, I think it's probably the best of the day, and in this race clearly, if there's one, he'll be peaking. She'll be peaking third up next time, and gee, on what I've seen there with the betting and those closing sectionals, I'll want to be on her. There'll be a race that they can find for her. Artie's Dream Women didn't handle it, 82, 87, ZZ Bar 90, 90, Man of Peace 97, 97, but Warranty's the one I want to follow out of that race. Arrow Mayo out of the Spring Champion, I think, is another doubtfying. That was huge numbers, but possibly a peak that may lead to a bounce. Cesar 106, 107 was also real noteworthy going forward. You can see, so like of the couple of horses that we sort of missed, as usual, they're all lightly race types, and these don't get under our guard for long. So that's our little review of Sydney for this week. We all eyes on there for the Everest next week on while it's Caulfield Guineas Day, Melbourne. So the spring really cracking days racing next week, and the form will be up sometime Thursday. Until next week, G out. And there you go, another little spring review complete. I hope you got something out of that and found yourself a couple of little black bookers to follow over the next few weeks. If you like what we do here, check us out on our Facebook page, like the YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and head online to www.horsetorque.net and register for your free account. Best of luck punting for the week, and we'll catch up with you all next week.